This is the Barbados Today Evening News for Monday, September 23rd. Thank you for joining us. I am Marie-Claire Williams. Tourism officials in Barbados are looking at ways to lessen the impact of the collapse of the international travel group Thomas Cooke. The UK-based business folded in the early hours of Monday after last-minute negotiations aimed at saving it failed. The CEO of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Senator Rudy Grant, is concerned about the development which left hundreds of thousands of people stranded at holiday destinations around the world. However, he tells Barbados Today that local officials have already started discussions with their UK counterparts to avoid any potential fallout for the Barbados market.
The Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association is very concerned about the recent failure of Thomas Cooke and its impact for the winter season when the Thomas Cooke service would be operating. We have participated in discussions led by Minister Simmons and including officials from the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. From the BHTA perspective, we are identifying specifically the number of room nights that would impact our members and to work with those affected members and the BTMI to ensure that we have the right market response. Our initial discussions are concentrated on ensuring that we are able to secure the long-stay visitor arrivals that would have utilized Thomas Cooke for the winter, but also to identify the possible options available to assist in the cruise and stay home porting area as well.
It was back to the classroom today for students of Belmont Primary. The school reopened its doors after closing last Monday when teachers complained of feeling unwell. Today, parents expressed satisfaction at the changes, which include new bathroom facilities and a paved yard.
I am very pleased about what have been done throughout the school last week. We have a very nice pleasant bathroom facilities, and I just want to thank the ministry for going out and beyond to make sure that our children is comfortable. I'm very proud and I'm very thankful for what they have done for our school.
The school is in immaculate condition, and to be honest, this is a small knitted school, and I like small knitted schools, so it would have been very heart-wrenching to transfer my son from here, because I think the work here is good. The teachers are one family, but you will know it's not a new school because the school existed for a very long time and it needed the work for a very long time. So we still have to give the minister and the government kudos for coming on board and getting the team and getting the school ready.
Prime Minister Mottley today chastised world leaders for failing to tackle climate change, and she warned of dire consequences if they fail to act. She was speaking at the United Nations Climate Event Summit in New York City.
Make no mistake, there will be mass migration by climate refugees that will destabilize the countries of the world that are not on the front line of this climate crisis. No country can stand up to it alone.
With global temperatures forecast to rise 1.5 degrees sometime between 2030 and 2053, she stressed that this could prove deadly for small island states like Barbados and the rest of the region.
The global community must accept that it is within our power to halt and reverse climate change. If the world can make it possible to have driverless cars, then we surely can find it possible to be able to find the technology to halt and reverse this climate crisis.
In a different forum, the Mottley-led administration said it is considering re-establishing a national commercial bank in Barbados. Addressing members of the diaspora at a town hall meeting in Brooklyn over the weekend, Prime Minister Mottley explained that her government is mulling over the idea in the face of banking regulations tightening over fears of losing correspondent banking, this resulting in Barbados being unbanked or finding it even difficult to open a bank account.
There are legitimate enterprises under the law who, because they may in other jurisdictions be viewed as risky, are also being told, come and pick up your money from my bank, even if you need a wheelbarrow to pick it up. because we are no longer banking you. Now, this is unacceptable for us. And it's not just Barbados, but it's other countries in the region. So we're going to have to find ways of, one, ensuring that we have a banking presence that still adheres to the very highest of prudential standards, but to remind people that regulation must be appropriate to risk. And last time I checked, the biggest centers for money laundering are still London, New York, and Zurich. Secondly, that we're going to need to be able to determine whether and how we collectively or individually seek to establish banking relationships, either through relationship or through ownership of small banking institutions in North America and the UK, to ensure that we maintain banks or institutions who do not mind taking the time to go through our standards and our procedures to ensure that we are not guilty of the kind of malpractices that would cause them or us to lose our relationships.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Craft Center. Kick off the weekend this Friday from 4 p.m. to midnight with loads of food, drinks, and entertainment. Get ready for Crop Over with the Rhythm Roots Street Parade. Party like it's Kadooman Day on the street around Pelican Village with costume reveler, music, and more. It's Festive Friday. It's Festive Friday at the Bridgetown Night Market at Pelican Village Center from 4 p.m. to midnight. Admission free.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
In news from the region, 3 tropical storms are currently churning in the Atlantic. First, Tropical Storm Karen continues to track across the Caribbean, moving towards Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. The storm is packing 40 miles per hour winds and moving northwest at 8 miles per hour. Meanwhile, Tropical Storm Jerry is still in the Atlantic and generally moving north-northwest. According to officials from the Miami-based National Hurricane Center, the storm is expected to turn back towards the northeast and could pass close to Bermuda. The island is currently under a tropical storm warning, and tropical storm force winds could arrive as early as Tuesday afternoon. Further in the Atlantic, Tropical Storm Lorenzo churned to life this morning a few hundred miles southeast of the Cabo Verde Islands. It is moving generally westward over the Atlantic at about 18 miles per hour. On the international front, teenage activist Greta Thunberg angrily denounced world leaders today for failing to tackle climate change, unleashing the outrage felt by millions of her peers in the heart of the United Nations, demanding, "How dare you?"
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering, people are dying, entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you? How dare you continue to look away and come here saying that you are doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight? You say you hear us and that you understand the urgency. But no matter how sad and angry I am, I do not want to believe that. Because if you really understood the situation and still kept on failing to act, then you would be evil, and that I refuse to believe.
And that's news, but for the very latest, you can visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. You can also sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals and on Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also find us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I am Marie-Claire Williams. Good evening.